Ryan had just finished arguing with the patrol outpost's water purifier, again, when the desert night split open with a sound like a frustrated cosmic wail. The sky flashed violet, then sputtered into a streak of burning silver that plummeted behind the dunes. Ryan stared for a long moment, weighing his options like a man who had already made the wrong choice but wanted credit for thinking about it. Then he grabbed his toolkit, told the purifier to behave for once, and jogged toward the impact site. The crashed craft sat half-buried in glowing sand, hissing like it disapproved of its own existence. Ryan whistled. It wasn't any model he recognized. Sleek curves, mirrored plating, lines that looked grown rather than built. And standing beside it was a woman brushing dust off her clothes with the stiff dignity of someone resisting the urge to kick the universe in the shins. She looked human at first glance, except for the long, elegant ears rising from her hair. They twitched when she noticed him. Ryan raised his hands. "Hi, please don't vaporize me. I've already had a long day." She blinked once. "Vaporize you?" "Well, I don't know your traditions," he said. "For all I know, long-eared visitors vaporize everyone they meet. Would be an odd hobby, though." Her ears twitched again, annoyance or amusement hard to tell. "I am not here to vaporize anyone. My ship malfunctioned." Ryan nodded sagely, even though he had no idea what counted as a malfunction for a craft that looked like an art museum's fever dream. "I fix things, mostly things that hate being fixed. Lucky for you, I'm stubborn." "You are a soldier," she observed softly, glancing at his uniform. "Technically, but don't worry, my weapon's about as reliable as that water purifier I keep threatening to throw into the sun." For the first time, she seemed unsure. Ryan recognized the look. He'd worn it the first time someone let him fly a training shuttle unsupervised. She hesitated before allowing him closer, and when he approached the ship, he felt her watching every motion. There was something wary in her posture, but also something curious, as if she expected him to demand something in exchange: gold, secrets, or perhaps a free interstellar ride. Instead, he crouched beside the cracked panel and pried it open with a grunt. "Okay, definitely not from around here. No offense." "None taken," she murmured. The circuits inside pulsed with soft bioluminescent swirls, like veins in a living creature. Ryan resisted the urge to poke one, mostly because he liked having 10 fingers. "So what's your name?" he asked while inspecting an unfamiliar coupling system. She stiffened. "I do not wish to share that information." Ryan shrugged. "Fair enough. I'll call you a traveler, sorry. Almost called you something rude." Her ears rose sharply. "You were going to call me what?" "Nothing flattering. Let's stick with traveler." Her eyes lingered on him, puzzled, almost amused. "You are unlike most humans I have observed." "You've observed humans?" "From afar." "Ah," he said, peeping, "very interstellar of you." A strange sound escaped her, halfway between a scoff and a laugh. "Your ship," she gestured toward the vast empty horizon, as if he owned anything more advanced than a motorbike. "Your people's ships are primitive." Ryan wiped sweat off his forehead. "Yep. Most of our machines break down if you give them a stern look. This one, though," he tapped her ship's interior lightly. The craft hummed, lights flickering. Then a sudden surge of energy zapped him hard enough to make him yank his hand back and do an involuntary full-body jiggle. "I'll okay, friendly." She covered her mouth, failing to hide her laugh this time. "You touched the resonance core." "Great, I always wanted to dance in front of a stranger." "Your repair attempt was reckless." "That's my entire personality." He adjusted a crystalline conductor, rerouted a filament-like energy thread, and sealed the panel. The ship straightened with a low, satisfied vibration. Ryan grinned. "There, should hold." She stared at the restored panel, then at him, then back at the panel. "You repaired Royal," she stopped herself. "Advanced technology, you should not have been able to." "I'm full of surprises," he said, "most of them accidental." She stepped closer, her long ears tilting forward in a way that felt strangely intense. "Why did you help me?" "Because you needed help." No other reason. Should there be? He asked, genuinely confused. She didn't answer. Instead, she reached into her suit and produced a small metallic token, engraved with symbols that seemed to shift when Ryan wasn't looking. She placed it in his hand with the solemnity of someone bestowing a sacred artifact. "Take this," she said quietly. "It is a gesture." Ryan examined it. "Is it a coupon? Because I love coupons." Her ears flattened. "It is not a coupon." "Then I will treasure it appropriately." She boarded her ship, still watching him as though trying to understand something important. With a rising hum, the craft lifted, sand swirling beneath it. Just before it shot into the sky, her voice echoed through the open hatch. "You have altered more than you know." Ryan scratched his head. "Yeah, people say that when I fix their air conditioners too." Then she was gone, leaving him alone with the desert wind, the cooling sand, and the strange metallic token glinting in his palm. Quiet, warm, and far too mysterious for a man who'd started the night arguing with a water purifier. Lysara's return to her flagship was met with the kind of horrified silence usually reserved for disasters involving antimatter leaking into important places. The council chamber's doors sealed behind her with a ceremonial thrum, and 12 advisors stared at her as if she had come back missing a limb. Their long ears angled sharply, a sign of collective panic among her people. Lysara resisted the urge to turn around and walk back out. One advisor finally spoke. "Your Radiance, we detected your ship landing on a primitive world. Alone, without guards, without escort, without anything that prevents interstellar incidents." Lysara stepped forward, her posture calm. "There was no threat." "No threat," another exclaimed. "A human could have attacked you." "He was holding a wrench," she replied. "A very dull one." Her council exchanged glances. Lysara seated herself at the center of the chamber, lifting her chin in the composed manner expected of a queen, though inside she replayed the memory of the human mechanic dancing after touching her ship. It had been unexpectedly hilarious. No one aboard the flagship had made her laugh in years, mostly because her officers tended to faint instead of joke. She began the briefing. "My vessel malfunctioned due to a resonance drift. I crash-landed. A human assisted me. He repaired the damage." The council erupted into scandalized murmurs. Someone gasped loudly enough to echo. "He touched royal," one advisor started. Lysara shot him a warning look. "Extremely advanced systems," he corrected quickly. "He did," she agreed. "And did you eliminate him afterward?" Another asked hopefully. "No." Silence, long, horrified silence. Even the lights seemed to dim out of sheer discomfort. Lysara continued, ignoring their expressions. "He expected nothing in return, no tribute, no bargaining. He simply repaired what he could." "He must have been plotting something," the chief advisor insisted. "Yes," she said dryly. "He plotted to return to arguing with a water purifier." The council froze, unsure whether she was joking. Lysara wasn't entirely sure either. Meanwhile, back on the desert outpost, Ryan examined the token again while his commander squinted at it as if waiting for it to turn into a sandwich. "Looks like something from a gift shop," the commander said before tossing it back. "Probably a tourist with dramatic fashion choices." "Yep," Ryan muttered, slipping it onto a strap of his toolkit. "Just a normal day. Alien tourist, exotic ears, spaceship made of glowing noodles." His commander stared. "What?" "Nothing," Ryan said quickly. Up in orbit, the crisis meeting continued. The council demanded to know if the human knew who Lysara was. She shook her head. "He believes I am a traveler." "A traveler, you?" The advisors stared at her ceremonial armor, at the rings woven through her long ears, at the faint luminescence of her royal insignia. How could he not know? Lysara exhaled. "Humans are perceptually flexible." The truth was simpler. Ryan hadn't looked at her with fear or suspicion. He looked at her the same way he looked at his stubborn machines, curious, determined, slightly amused. The memory unsettled her in a way she couldn't explain to the council. The chief advisor stepped forward. Your radiance, this incident creates political vulnerability. If the human reports your presence, other species may exploit. He will not, Lysara interrupted. He is not interested in politics. How can you be certain? He fixed my ship while telling jokes about coupons. The council flinched collectively. Lysara stood. I will return to the human world. The outcry was immediate. You cannot. It is unsafe. It is unprecedented. It is mildly embarrassing, someone added. Lysara raised a hand, silencing them. I require information about humans. This encounter revealed a misunderstanding between our cultures. I will return discreetly. She did not mention the other reason growing quietly inside her, the one she refused to acknowledge. The strange pull she felt to understand why a lone human mechanic had looked at her like she was simply another person needing help. Her ship descended back toward the desert several days later. Ryan was outside wrestling a supply crate that refused to budge. When her vessel appeared above him, he froze and glanced at the sky. "Oh good," he muttered. "The cosmic whale is back." The hatch opened and Lysara stepped out with the dignified stride of someone trying very hard not to trip on sand. Ryan waved. "Hey, traveler, you didn't crash this time. Proud of you." Her ears flicked. "Your greetings are unusual. They're limited edition, only available on this planet." He laughed at his own joke. Lysara found herself fighting a smile. She approached him, examining the token still attached to his toolkit. "You kept it." "Of course, you gave it to me. It is not a trinket. It's on my toolbox, that's sacred territory." She studied him again, that same puzzled warmth flickering beneath her expression. "I have returned because your repairs require verification." "Right, a checkup," Ryan said, "like a doctor visit for spaceships." "Precisely." She knew he didn't believe her excuse. He knew she knew. Somehow the unspoken agreement between them made the air lighter. He handed her a diagnostic scanner he had no business handling, and she took it from him gently, as though he might break it by breathing wrong. He gave her a sheepish grin. "Don't worry, I didn't touch anything glowing." "Good," she said. "Touching glowing things is generally unwise. Learned that the hard way." As she worked, her long ears occasionally tilted toward him, as if tracking his presence. And Ryan, fidgeting with sand at his boots, wondered why someone so poised would choose to return to a dusty outpost inhabited by bored soldiers and rebellious purifiers. He didn't know yet. Neither did she. But the stars above already sensed the shift beginning, quiet, delicate, and powerful enough to change the future of two worlds. Ryan realized the universe had officially gone off script when a glowing fracture in the sky opened above the outpost, shimmering like someone had torn reality with a decorative knife. He dropped his wrench. "That's new," he muttered, then yelled toward the barracks, "If anyone asks, I didn't break it." Lysara's ship landed with less grace this time, its engines humming with urgency. She stepped out, her expression sharp, her long ears angled in alert tension. "Ryan, inside now." He blinked. "Is this about the purifier again, because it started the fight?" "This is not about your machines," she said, grabbing his arm and pulling him toward the open hatch. Her touch was firm but not unkind. "The Dominion has fractured. A faction believes you accessed royal systems. They intend to seize you." Ryan froze halfway up the ramp. "Me? Why? I can barely access my own locker." "They believe you possess sensitive knowledge." "I don't even possess the ability to fold laundry correctly." She didn't smile. That worried him more than the skyrip. Inside the ship, consoles flickered with warning symbols. Lysara guided the craft upward, piercing clouds as the planet shrank below. Ryan gripped the railing. "So, you're saying I'm being hunted by aliens because I fixed a thing?" "Yes. That is ridiculously on brand for my life." She glanced at him, her ears softening for a moment. "I did not intend for you to be entangled in this." "Hey, you didn't drag me into it. I walked into it because your ship was yelling at me." A sudden blast struck the hull, jolting them sideways. Ryan yelped and clung to the railing like it owed him money. Lysara's composure did not crack even as alarms screamed. "They found us," she said. "That's bad, right?" "Yes. Okay, just checking." Two sleek Dominion warships materialized ahead, adorned with the insignia of Admiral Kale, Lysara's most ambitious rival. A transmission opened, projecting the Admiral's stern face. "Your radiance, hand over the human, you jeopardize the Dominion with your sentimentality." Ryan waved into the projection. "Hi, please lose interest in me." Kale ignored him. Lysara stood tall. "You will not touch him. He has accessed royal systems. He repaired a damaged panel. Then he is more dangerous than we thought." Ryan threw up his hands. "I'm literally dangerous to myself." Kale ordered his ships to lock weapons. Lysara cut the transmission and pressed a control, shifting her vessel into a defensive glide. "Ryan, I require your assistance." He stared at the intricate interface. "I have no business touching any of that." "Precisely why it will work. Kale believes humans cannot interface intentionally with our systems. Therefore, your improvisation is unpredictable." "Unpredictable is a polite word for what I do." She handed him a tool shaped like a luminous tuning fork. "When I say now, strike the resonance core." "No, last time I touched that thing I did the cosmic shimmy. It may disorient the pursuing ships." "That sounds like science for it'll explode." Her ears angled toward him, earnest and steady. "Trust me." He swallowed hard. "I do." The moment she whispered, "Now," Ryan darted to the core chamber and slammed the tool against the glowing mechanism. A surge of energy swept through the ship, but instead of exploding, the core released a pulse of distortion that rippled outward like a shockwave of bending starlight. Outside, Kale's warship spun wildly as their navigational fields scrambled. One vessel twisted sideways, colliding with the other in a spectacular, non-lethal crash. Ryan staggered back to the bridge. "That went better than expected." Lysara exhaled, relief softening her posture. "You did well." "I'm adding accidental tactical genius to my resume." But the battle wasn't over. A final warship emerged from the fracture, its main cannon charging. Lysara's fingers hovered over the controls, but Ryan stepped beside her. "Let me try something." She hesitated. "Ryan, I fixed your ship once. Let me patch this mess too." He reached for the auxiliary interface, the same one he had tinkered with days earlier. Lysara watched him, something proud flickering across her face. Ryan rerouted power, overloaded a dormant capacitor, and triggered a blinding flash. The craft released a burst of decoy signals so chaotic that the final warship's cannon misfired and shut down. Lysara seized the moment, activating a hypershift that carried them across a scattering of stars. Ryan collapsed into the co-pilot chair, panting. "I did it. I actually didn't destroy anything." "You saved us," she said. He grinned weakly. "Guess I'm improving." When they landed aboard her flagship hours later, the council rushed in, disheveled and stunned. Kale's failed attack had exposed his treachery, and the Dominion rallied firmly behind Lysara. No one questioned the human beside her, partly because he looked exhausted, partly because she stood close enough that no one dared. Later, when the corridors quieted, Lysara approached him. "Your world will be safe now. The Dominion will not interfere." Ryan traced a hand along the token she had given him. "So this is goodbye. If you wish it to be." "I don't," he said, surprising himself. Her long ears tilted in a soft arc. "Nor do I." He chuckled. "Well, I guess the purifier will miss me." "I doubt that." "Yeah, me too." They stood together beneath the viewport, stars stretching endlessly before them. Ryan felt the weight of everything that had happened, fear, wonder, improbable victories, and realized he was no longer the bored mechanic waiting for something interesting to happen. He had stepped into a universe far larger than his outpost, changed not by fate but by a choice to help someone who fell from the sky. "So," he said, nudging her gently, "what now?" Lysara looked forward, calm and certain. "Now we see what we can build, together." Ryan smiled, feeling the future unfold like a ship's hull repairing itself, piece by piece, spark by spark, unexpectedly strong. And for the first time, he wasn't just ready for it. He was eager.